Good morning. Today is 25th of June and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis. Guys, here we are going to take up the detailed analysis of the Hindu newspaper along with the background and potential way forwards. Now guys, before moving on, I would like to tell you that the explainer PDF that I am going to use here will be available on the Telegram channel. You can download it from there. Now, before that, first of all, let's take the overview of the today's newspaper to identify which articles are going to be important. Now guys, here we can see that first of all the climate change and the crop failure has been mentioned. Now this particular article, though it is talking about the crop failure in the state of Kerala, but there are certain good points that have been given and we are going to discuss this particular article. Then guys, the next article talks about basically the role of women in the policing, how it is a positive start and how it is bringing some substantial changes. So we'll see this particular article. Then guys, moving on, after that the political articles you don't need to see in this particular direction. However, one very important development has been mentioned here on the page number 1. It is the US Supreme Court's decision where the abortion rights of the women have been diluted. So we'll see this particular article and how it is going to be an important development, how it will have some significant implications. We'll see this. Then moving on, after that guys, in the city section much of the relevant news are not there. Safety at a price for Delhi's queer community. So guys, we see this particular thing that after the Navtej Singh Johar judgment of the Supreme Court, section number 377 has been decriminalized. Now the homosexuality is not a crime. Fine. Now, basically, after the Navtoj Singh Johar case, LGBT community, their rights have been recognized. But guys, still, there are lack of safe spaces for these people. It has been said though, Delhi is emerged as a progressive capital where there are the places where there are the clubs, etc., which are open to the LGBT communities. But guys, still, they charge hefty premium. Okay, and that here the economic class is becoming a kind of an obstruction. Fine. However, apart from that, much substance is not there in this article. Then guys, moving on, advertisements, regional news, etc. have been given, not at all important for your exam. Directly will be reaching to the editorial page. Now into the editorial page, yes, the left is back in the Latin America. So guys, basically it is talking about the Gustavo Petro's election, okay, in the Colombia, how he basically how he had defeated the other opponents and all such kind of a things. So basically the article is too much centering on to the internal politics of Colombia. With respect to the our exam, much substance is not there in this article. Then an advent of absolute chaos in MG Narega. So recent amendments into the MG Narega has come. We'll see this particular development. Then moving on, brick by brick. So guys, this article talks about the recently concluded 14th BRICS summit. Fine, and what have been the challenges into the BRICS that are there. We are going to see this thing. Then guys, moving on, two is one too many. Okay, so basically O Selvam, okay, AIA DMK, fine, his basically the stakes that are there. Okay, so how basically this article talking about the internal politics that is unfolding. Now article is not relevant for our UPSC exam, so you no need to see in this particular article. Then guys, where peace hangs by a thread. So this particular article talks about the death of a student in the Tamil Nadu, fine, and how it has here heightened the conflicts, the caste conflicts that might emerge. Now this ground zero report basically talks about the personal accounts, personal stories of the people. So therefore, with respect to UPSC, fine, you don't need to go and see this article. Then guys, moving on, fine, the agitation against Agnipath, fine, political news, etc. have just been discussed. Moving on, again the political news continues. Now here we see one important development has come. The Supreme Court has given a kind of a direction with respect, or basically they have expressed their views about the death penalty. Okay, we'll see this article what it is talking about. Then the flood situation into the Assam. Okay, vaccines prevented 42 lakh deaths in India. Okay, so this just one liner concept you can use in your answers. Okay, how the vaccines have proved to be effective, how the vaccines have proved to be a lifesaver. In this capacity, the Lancet had released its report. Now the Lancet infectious disease report provides that because of the vaccine, 42 lakh deaths only in the India have been prevented. Is it clear? So just one liner concept. Beyond that, you don't need to go. Okay, basically by the way, Lancet had estimated data not only for India but for the entire world, but we'll see for India what impact the vaccines have played. Then after that, world Ukraine Russia crisis, all these particular things is continuing. Fine. On the business page, will guard rupee's stability, RBI. So now there have been the speculation that the rupee will further depreciate, okay, because the foreign portfolio investment that earlier came in India, now they are going back. Now they are going back to the US. Why? Because in the US, Federal Reserve has increased the interest rate. So when the outflow of the dollar will be there, obviously the rupee is going to be depreciated. So RBI had said that will take care that such kind of thing doesn't happen. By the way, this entire discussion, US Federal Reserve, its decision to increase the interest rate, the impact on India, the inflation in India, all these things already I have discussed in much detail in the previous edition. I hope that you are regularly seeing the newspaper analysis. Now guys, this is all about the overview of the today's newspaper, and now let's take, fine, now we have the sports page, and now let's take the detailed analysis of the relevant articles one by one. Now starting up, as you know, every class we start with a GS quote. So guys, today we'll be taking the quote from one of the founding father of the US, Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin has talked about the justice. He says that the justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. So basically, for the justice to prevail, even the people who have not seen injustice, they should come out, they should speak for the cause of the people who have been served injustice. Fine. So not only the affected ones need to speak, rather the others also need to come out. Only then the true justice can prevail in the society. Very impactful and very powerful quote. You can use it in the GS paper number 2, as well as we can use it in the GS paper number 4, ethics. Moreover guys, even in the essay there will be a lot of utility of such kind of quote. Now moving on. So guys, first of all, let's take the first article here. Now this first article here, it is talking about the recent, just a minute. Okay, so let's take the first article. It is talking about the recent Supreme Court's judgment onto the abortion rights. This particular article, it is going to be important in GS paper number 4, ethics. GS paper number 4, ethics. Where in the ethics? Guys, in the ethics, there is a particular topic within, there is a particular thing in the topic number 1, applied ethics. Applied ethics. In the applied ethics, ethics of abortion. Ethics of abortion. Abortion is a moral question. It is something on which a question could be framed. So I will be telling you this entire issue from the scratch. I'll tell you that what will be the implications, what is the scenario in India, and all these things we are going to discuss. So guys, let's discuss. First of all, let's understand that what has happened, what Supreme Court has done, the US Supreme Court has done. So basically guys, when we talk about the USA, in the USA, the right to abortion has not been specifically mentioned in the USA's constitution. But what happened, USA in 1973, by a very significant judgment by the name of Roe versus Wade, had provided that yes, though the abortion is not specifically mentioned, but still the women has the right to abort a child. By what time they can abort a child? They can abort a child till the time that the fetus is not viable outside the womb. Now the fetus is not viable outside the womb. So basically you know that now the medical sciences has advanced, and even the fetus can survive outside the womb after a particular time. What is that time? The time is 24 to 28 weeks. So after 24 to 28 weeks, a fetus can be viable outside the body also. Okay, after that the abortion will not be allowed, but before that the abortion will be allowed. If women want, they can go for that. It is a right. It is their fundamental right. This particular thing was ruled in this Roe versus Wade judgment of 1973. So the right was given for the abortion. Now guys, in this particular light, what happened then? Basically then the USA, it also passed one more act also. The name of the act was the Planned Parenthood Act. Okay. This particular act was also there, which basically provided women the right to abortion. Now what has happened actually, meanwhile guys, there were the many of the states which came out with their abortion ban laws. Fine, there were certain states which said that okay, after 15 weeks the abortion will not be allowed. Now this particular thing was going against the Roe versus Wade judgment, where the abortion till 24 to 28 weeks was allowed. So this particular thing was challenged into the Supreme Court, that whether the women have the right to abort or not. Now this particular thing has been settled, and it has been said that basically it has been said by the US Supreme Court that the constitution actually does not doesn't makes any reference to the abortion, and no such right is provided to the women. It means that if the state in the USA wants to make a law and they want to ban an abortion, they can do that particular thing. So it has been said that actually women's right on their bodies, women's bodily autonomy, women's reproductive rights, women's reproductive choices have been rolled back by the Supreme Court. Now guys, behind this particular thing, also one more angle I want to tell you. See, when we talk about the USA's Supreme Court, in the USA's Supreme Court, the judges that are there, they have an ideological divide between them. There are one set of judges who actually belong to the conservative ideological spectrum. Other ones are towards the liberal democrat sides. Now the conservatives are the ones who want to uphold the traditions and all such kind of things. Now it is being said that the USA Supreme Court is having the majority of the conservatives, okay, and this particular thing has come after the Donald Trump became the president. During the Donald Trump, there were certain appointments that were made into the Supreme Court which actually had shifted the balance towards us, which have actually given conservatives more upper hand, and it has been said that it is an outcome of the conservative leaning in the Supreme Court that such rights have now been diluted. This is something which is being said. Now this is entire issue that had happened. Now guys, let's understand that after giving the right to abort to the women, whether this thing proved good or not. So actually I'm talking from the period from 1973 to 2022. These are around these around 50 years. What happened? So guys, here I have taken certain attachments from the Times of India newspaper. Okay, so this particular article, this particular paragraph I have taken from one of editorial of Times of India. So it has given certain data. It says that actually what happened when American women won the right to abortion, at that point of a time, only 20% of those aged between 25 to 34 were without a child. Okay, it means that 80% women in this particular age bracket of 25 to 34, they were having a child. Okay, now today 52% is the number. It means today 52% of the people, women don't have a child. Okay, 52% women don't have a child. Okay, it means that though they are getting pregnant, but they are able to abort the child. Okay, it has been said that at that point of a time when the right to abortion was not given, that time only 11% of the women between 25 to 44, they had a college degree. Now 41% have a college degree. Why this particular number increased? Because it was seen that when the women were getting pregnant and they did not have the right to abort, they have to raise a child, and in that thing they were not able to continue their higher studies. And because of that particular thing, at that point of a time, only 11% of the women had the college degree in this particular age group. Is it clear or not? But today this number has increased. It has also been said that 17%, basically at that point of a time, in the management there were the 17% of the jobs. Today the women, 45% of the women, fine, they are holding the management jobs. So this particular data clearly provides that the reproductive freedoms, abortion rights, if they were given to the women, they are deeply or directly linked to the economic freedom. Women, they tend to go for higher studies, they tend to become high paying managers. Okay, education increased. Fine, now such kind of things might see a kind of a rollback. Now apart from that, let's see that what is the scenario with respect to the abortions in the other countries. So guys, when we talk about the other countries, there are actually the three groups which could be made. Group number 1, where abortion is completely illegal. Group number 2, where there are very few restrictions onto the abortion. And group number 3, where there are a large number of restrictions onto the abortion. First of all, there are the countries where abortion is completely illegal. Now according to the Center for Reproductive Rights, there are 24 countries into the world where abortion is completely prohibited, and it includes countries such as El Salvador, Malta, Honduras, Senegal, Egypt, okay, Philippines, Laos, all these countries. Then there are other groups of countries which have very few restrictions onto the abortion. And guys, here India's name comes. So this is a good thing. This is a kind of a progressive thing that has been there in India. If I tell you about the India, we have the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, which got recently amended. As per the amended Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, the women can abort the child till 24 weeks if on the basis of advice given by the two medical practitioners. Is it clear? Earlier the limit was 20, now we have increased to 24 weeks. Till this time the women can abort if the medical opinion by two practitioners is given. However, after 24 weeks also the child can be aborted if the medical board advises, if a state medical board advises. Is it clear or not? But in that particular thing, there needs to be some kind of a very grave reasons for that thing. For example, the child is having a kind of a rare disease and his survival will not be possible, or it might threaten the life of the women, okay, and all such kind of things. Okay, so in terms of abortion, India is a liberal country. India provides up till 24 weeks the abortion can be carried. Okay, so Japan is also there. Then there are countries where a significant restrictions are there and only in very rare circumstances the abortion will be allowed, and 50 plus such countries are there. Who gives this particular data? Center for Reproductive Rights. So guys, this is something which you can directly use in your answers. Now, what is the ethical side that is coming in this entire debate? What is the ethical side? So the ethical side comes like this, that see, when we talk about the abortion has been a kind of a moral question. There are two type of viewpoints. One is the pro-choice argument and other is the pro-life argument, pro-choice argument and pro-life argument. Now what is these both? Pro-choice argument, it says that actually the women is the one who had conceived a child. Women is the one who will be the primary caregiver to the child. So so the women's choice that whether she want to carry the pregnancy or whether she doesn't want to carry the pregnancy should be respected. Women should be given the right to choose whether to abort or whether not to abort. So the women's right have been given an importance here, and this particular thing provides that actually the abortion should be allowed, and let the women choose that whether they want to go for abortion or not. You don't ban the abortion because it will dilute the reproductive right, it will dilute the bodily autonomy of the women. Please use these keywords in your answers. Okay guys, please write them. If you'll forget, use these keywords: reproductive rights, bodily autonomy, fine, will be diluted. Then the another hand we have the pro-life debate. Pro-life, now pro-life, they talks about the right to life of the fetus that has developed inside the body of the women. They say that what is the mistake of a fetus? Now you tell me one thing, that can you say that if the murder of a let's say, can you say that if a murder of a 25-year-old person have happened, then there will be a different punishment, and if a murder of 10-year kid has happened, there will be a different punishment? No, in both the cases the punishment will be same. Why? Because at the end of the day a person has been killed, be the 25-year-old person, 10-year-old person, it is a murder. So they say that when you are treating a 25-year-old person's death as a murder, if he has been killed, why you are not treating at the same ground a fetus? A fetus also is a life, and killing that fetus is nothing but a murder. It is ethically wrong, it is morally unjustifiable. So therefore abortion is nothing but a murder and it should not be allowed. The fetus's right to life should be respected. So there is this is the spectrum where the abortion is basically divided. Fine, some people say that we should allow, some people say that we should not allow. What US's Supreme Court has done, US's Supreme Court had provided that abortion is not a fundamental right, it could be restricted. So this is a significant development that has come here. Guys, I hope that you have understood this entire issue. Okay, now we'll be moving to the next article. Okay, so this particular article we have taken from the J2 page of the Hindu, fine, the jacket number 2. So this article talks about the changes that have been started in the state of Tamil Nadu. What changes we are talking about? All women police station. Is it clear? All women police station. Now this particular change has brought certain positive developments, and this is something that we are going to use in our answers. Now first of all, where this article could be relevant? This article will be relevant in GS paper number 2. When we talk about GS paper number 2, within it we have the topic of police reforms. Now when we talk about the police reforms, we advocate many of the changes that are required into the police forces. We need to provide our polices sophisticated weaponry. We need to provide our polices basically a kind of a psychological mindset is to be changed into the policing. Today police, they see themselves as a force, not as a service. So significant police reforms are pending in India. Now one dimension of police reform is also there, that actually the gender that the gender parity is also to be brought into the police forces. Today, even less number of women police personnel are there, and how this particular gender parity into the police can be corrected by the steps which have been taken by the Tamil Nadu, that is the all women police stations. Okay, so this is something that we are going to discuss here. Now, guys, first of all, when we talk about the role of women or the women in khaki, this is a very significant development. Why this is a significant development? Okay, now I'm telling you something which is beyond the scope of this particular article, but it is very much important for you to have a better conceptual clarity. So listen very carefully. Okay, we are going a little bit beyond the scope of this particular article. Guys, today you see that in India there is a big attitudinal problem that is there, that is the patriarchal attitude. Patriarchal attitude, it is a very big problem in India. What is this patriarchal attitude? Men believe that they are the decision makers, women are taken in the subordinate capacity. Okay, this patriarchy is very much prevalent. Why? Because often women are not in the position of authority, and this patriarchal attitude is going on. So therefore, now bringing significant number of women in the police, giving them authority, giving them an opportunity to prove their leadership, will actually dilute this patriarchal attitude that is deep rooted in India. So there are the social implications of bringing the women in the police, number one. Number two, there is also a kind of a political legal argument that can also be given. Basically, our constitution has specifically given the fundamental right, the right to equality. The right to equality has been given. Now on the paper, right to equality is there, but when the equal participation of women will not be there, then realization of equality cannot be seen. So therefore, bringing more number of women into the police is important, and one way of bringing the women into the policing is by having dedicated all women police stations. In this particular capacity, the Tamil Nadu started all women police stations way back in 1992, and now, okay, basically they started this particular thing. Okay, and today Tamil Nadu has more than 222 such all women police stations, and the other states are replicating the Tamil Nadu in this particular direction. Now, guys, before that, first of all, if we talk about the representation of women in the policing in India, there are certain landmarks that have actually come. We'll see first of all them one by one. Now, for the first time, the women were deployed into the police in the princely state of Travancore. So the Tamil Nadu has been progressive way back. Fine, when the princely state of Travancore was there, so the women were deployed. Then, guys, the formally the women that were deployed into the police service in the Kanpur in 1939 during the time of Britishers. Okay, then, guys, what happened? The cadres of the Indian Police Service IPS, they were opened for the women in 1972, and Miss Kiran Bedi became the first women IPS officer. This was a kind of a landmark point of the women's representation in the policing. Then, guys, in 1976, women IPS officer G. Thilagavati and Letika Saran were posted to the Tamil Nadu cadre. It was a significant step. And then what happened? 1992 comes, all women police stations were adopted into the Tamil Nadu. Now, guys, basically, what was the logic of adopting these all women police stations? It has been provided that actually there are many of the laws that are meant for the protection of women. But the problem is that women are not comfortable in going into the police station which are manned by the male. Okay, women don't feel comfortable, they are not able to share their problem. Even many times male are not able to connect with the women on an emotional level. So therefore, in order to encourage more women to come to the police station to seek justice, this particular thing was brought. Now, guys, these all women police stations, they have dedicated may I help you counters where the sensitized trained officers deal with the women in a polite manner, and these all women police stations are specifically dealing with the cases such as the serious crimes against the women, serious crimes against the children, rape crimes, molestation, abduction, dowry death, cruelty by the husband, relative, sexual harassment. The cases booked under IPS: Tamil Nadu Prohibition of Women Harassment Act, POCSO, that is the Protection of Children from the Sexual Offences Act. So the crimes of harassment, physical, sexual harassment of children, women, they are majorly dealt by these particular police stations. So this is something that has been there. Now other states have also replicated. But guys, at the same time, there are certain criticisms also of this particular thing that are there. Now let's discuss these criticisms. So criticism goes like this. Number one, it has been said that these police stations often conduct the kangaroo panchayats in the name of counseling and compromise to particularly settle the matrimonial dispute. So basically what happened, they call a lot of people, fine, let's say the women which had complained about the dowry, the women which have complained that their husbands are assaulting them, they call them and they insist, they force them that you should settle your matter here only. The women want to pursue the case, but they are discouraged. So these kangaroo panchayats are conducted. Fine, even when the harassment cases are there, many a times they are tried to be buried down. Moreover, some people say that these police stations have actually outlived their utility. Fine, why? Because now in general also the women representation in policing has increased. So why to have a dedicated such kind of thing? So this is the entire issue around this particular topic. Guys, I hope that you have understood it. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Climate change and the crop failure. Now this particular article is again taken by the J2 page of the Hindu. It is talking about the impact of the climate change on the plantation crops, particularly in the state of Kerala. So this particular article we are going to see with respect to the GS paper number 3, that is the interaction between the climate change and agriculture. Climate change and agriculture, both of these things are highly important for GS3. Now guys, this particular article provides that now as the climate change is becoming real, the climate extremes have increased and they are actually impacting the cropping system of entire India and particularly of the Kerala. Now understand this particular thing guys, that the Kerala, it is very much significant for the production of the spices, and the spices are one of the major export from India. Fine, the spices of Kerala, they are a big cash crop. Okay, significant plantations, they are generating a lot of employment of the people. Okay, so what happens basically with the climate change, now we see that the monsoons are becoming dry. Monsoons are becoming dry, monsoons are actually becoming erratic. Some years monsoons are exceptionally good, some years monsoons are below the average. I have discussed a few days back that IMD had said that this particular year we are expecting a 8% deficit monsoon. Now this particular thing leads to rise in the temperature, and this temperature is very much bad for the crops such as the cardamom. When we talk about the cardamom, it is a thermosensitive crops. What is a thermosensitive crop? The crop which actually the crop whose productivity gets impacted even with the slightest change into the temperature. So why that? Basically the cardamom crops, they are getting failed. After that, it has also been said that because of the inconsistent rain patterns, crop losses have increased, flowering have been delayed. Moreover guys, what had happened today, as the temperature are rising, by the rising temperature, what happens, the humidity automatically increases, and because of this increasing humidity, the pest attacks have become significant, and these pest attacks again leading to the failure of the crops. So this is one thing. After that guys, next, it has been said that because the climate change is happening, temperatures are increasing, the rains are not there, productivity is going down, soil productivity is going down. What happened today, the farmers, they are forced to use the chemical pesticides. Indiscriminate use of chemical pesticides have happened. This again is impacting the crops, impacting the health of the crops. Fine, then the next thing that has been said, that variation in temperatures and increase in relative humidity, I told you, bring many number of new diseases. Okay, and all such kind of things. Fungal infections are increasing, and I used one word, that there is not only the deficient rain, sometimes the erratic rain is also there. Untimely rains are also there. These untimely rains, sometimes when in excess, they are impacting the soil fertility. Fine, what happens? They are making the soil more acidic. The top soil is often washed away when there is a lot of rain. It depletes the organic matter, and again it impacts the productivity of the soil. Now it has been said that in the state of Kerala, and this is true for the entire country, the temperature differences are increasing. For example, daytime temperature is rising, the days are more and more hot, night temperatures are falling. Is it clear? This differential in terms of temperature, it impacts the the crop productivity, not good for the crop. So therefore we need to find some sustainable solution rather than looking for the quick fixes. We need to find the sustainable solutions for the climate change that is happening, because it is going to severely impact the agriculture sector. And if I tell you, agriculture sector today, directly and indirectly, even today, directly and indirectly, agriculture sector employs around 54% of the people. So all these people's livelihood is at stake. So this is all, guys, about this particular article. And now let's move to the next article. Now, uh, just a minute. So this particular article we have taken again from the Hindu newspaper. It talks about the Supreme Court's views with respect to the death penalty. Now, when we talk about this particular issue, it is going to be important in our GS paper number 2. GS paper number 2, punishment and punishment reforms. So let's discuss about some of a background first. Now, guys, when we talk about the death penalty, the capital punishment, India follows with respect to the death penalty the rarest of the rare case doctrine. Rarest of rare case doctrine. What is this rarest of rare case doctrine? Basically, this particular doctrine came in the Bachchan Singh case of 1980. Bachchan Singh case of 1980. Now, basically, it provides that India will neither be using the death penalty as a routine, nor we are completely abandoning the death penalty. See, right now even the death penalty is a moral issue. The entire world is divided. There are countries such as Saudi Arabia, many Middle Eastern countries, they feel that eye for an eye is a right recourse to justice. They say that the punishment should act as a deterrent. That the punishment should act as a deterrent. Punishment should discourage the future criminals also. And therefore the punishment needs to be harsh. Punishment needs can be sometimes disproportionate also. It will bring some good into the long term. So they believe such. However, at the same time, there are the European countries, particularly the European Union is there. European Union is against the death penalty. They say that rather than punishment being as a deterrent, punishment should be reformative. Punishment should be reformative. Punishment should make a person realize what wrong he has done. And how the reform will be there if you kill the person. If there is a death penalty, how reform can be there? So the death penalty should not be there. It is immoral. They say death penalty should be abolished. Other countries, they say that no, death penalty should be used so that it discourages the future criminals. What India feels that no, both of these things are extreme. We will follow the rarest of the rare case doctrine. Now, what is the rarest of the rare case? Neither the death penalty will be routinely be given, nor will completely avoid it. We'll see the case, whether the case is extremely heinous. If it is the case, then only the death penalty can be given. This ideology got cemented into the Bachchan Singh case. As of today, when we talk about the rarest of the rare cases, what are they? Supreme Court has not given a kind of a definite list that only these are the rarest of the rare case. Rather, Supreme Court had said that it will be determined on to the case to case basis. But as of now, three conditions are there which are the rarest of the rare and the death penalty could be given. Number one, rape leading to death. Rape leading to death. Number two, fake encounters. And number three, honor killings. In these cases, death penalty can be given. Other type of cases can also be added that the Supreme Court will be taking a call. So this is something which is the issue. Now, there was again observation that has been made by Supreme Court. Supreme Court has clarified the same thing again. Apart from that, nothing has happened. What Supreme Court had said? Supreme Court had said that the Supreme Court or the judiciary never endeavored or never tried to make death penalty redundant or non-existent. They say that we follow the rarest of the rare case doctrine. Fine, death penalty is a kind of a punishment that will be kept into the statute books. See, guys, there are many of the crimes mentioned into the IPC where death penalty as a punishment has been given. So Supreme Court had said that when the law provides for the death penalty, how the judiciary can ignore that particular law. So till in the law the death penalty will be present, the Supreme Court might use it. So what it is a blow to the death penalty abolitionists. death penalty abolitionists. Who are these death penalty abolitionists? These are the people who want that India should give away the death penalty, okay, on the lines of European Union members. So this is something that has come here. Guys, I hope that you have understood it. Now, if you'll read the article, it is just a two-line concept that has been mentioned, but knowing this background is something that is very important. Is it clear? Background. Now, let's move to the next article. Okay, the advent of absolute chaos in MG Narega. Fine. Now, first of all, guys, the similar article I have discussed with you guys in the yesterday's newspaper analysis also, where we have seen that certain changes are coming in the MG Narega. So on the similar lines, this particular article has been mentioned. So it will just work as a revision for you guys in case if you have not seen it. Now, please be very much attentive. Where this particular article is going to be important, it is going to be important in GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2, welfare, GS paper number 2, critical evaluation of government welfare programs. Critical evaluations of government welfare program. Now, when we talk about the MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, it is a welfare program. Why? Because under the MG Narega, 100 days of guaranteed employment is provided in the rural areas for unskilled work. Keep these keywords in your mind. 100 days of wage, 100 days of work is guaranteed. What type of work? Not skilled work, unskilled work. Which areas? Rural areas. Is it specific to certain caste or categories? No. And MG Narega, any person can go and can ask for the 100 days of work, not specific to any caste or any community. Clear? Just one more addition I'll give you. Guys, MG Narega is for rural areas, but it has been suggested by many of the social thinkers, including the thinkers such as the John Dries, that we need such scheme in urban areas also. So in that capacity, we have seen that the Rajasthan became a state which had brought the urban MG Narega, urban counterpart of Rural Employment Guarantee Act. That is one thing. Okay, we have discussed it earlier, right now not mentioned in this article. Just keep it in your mind because you need to have the holistic views. Okay, so this is MG Narega, very important scheme. Okay, GS paper number 2. Now this article talks about the recent changes that have been brought in the MG Narega and how these particular changes might violate or might dilute the spirit of MG Narega. So what has happened, the Ministry of Rural Development has provided that now the attendance in the MG Narega will be done through a mobile app. What mobile app? The National Mobile Monitoring Software app. Now on this particular app, in a digital form, the people can mark their attendance if they are working on an MG Narega site. Every MG Narega site which is providing the work to more than 20 people, their attendance will only be through this National Mobile Monitoring Software application. This is a change that has come. The government says that actually it will bring the transparency in the system. Is it clear? Many a times there have been the ghost beneficiaries who have received the wages from an MG Narega even when they have not worked on an MG Narega site. So it will bring transparency, it will bring e-governance, this is something that has been said. But guys, it has been said that actually it is going to be counterproductive. Why it is going to be counterproductive? We'll see these things one by one. Number one, guys, it has been provided that in this particular app, geo-tagged and geo-timed photographs have to be uploaded by the people who are working. Suppose I am a worker in the MG Narega. I have to upload my photo, let's say at 9 a.m. Then I have to upload my photo at, let's say, at 1 p.m. which shows that, okay, I was there at that particular site. Now this particular thing is not correct. Why? Because it has been said that MG Narega's important point was the flexibility that it provided. What was this element of flexibility? It said that MG Narega did not ask the people that on a specific time they should come, rather they were given a task. For example, I am being given a task that I have to lay the flooring in a particular building. Fine, let's say I was given a task that I have to dig a tube well, I have to dig a well. Now for the task I am being paid. Is it clear or not? So what is the need of asking a person to make the time-stamped attendance? Is it clear or not? That element of flexibility will be lost. It has been said. Then guys, it is also going to be against the women workers. Now first of all, keep this particular thing in your mind that guys, the MG Narega is a women centric legislation. Fine. If you see the number of workers enrolled under the MG Narega, 54.7% of the workers actually are the women. So it has really provided the benefits to the women. Now women, they have domestic works also okay, they have the care work also that they have to do in their houses. So women specifically are not able to come to the work site at a specific time. Rather, the task that is being given to them, they completed that on time. Okay, but on a specific for a specific duration they will be there on a work site, it is not possible for the rural women. Now you had provided that they have to tag the geo tagged and geo timed photographs. It will discourage the women, they will opt out of the MG Narega. Then the next thing that has been there is that basically for doing this particular thing you need to have a stable network, but we know into the rural areas the network issues are there. So what will happen, sometimes the workers might not be able to upload their attendance onto the app, and it will show the worker has not come, and their wages settlement then will be disputed. Next thing that has come, actually this similar thing experiment has been carried in the Kerala and Jharkhand, and already they are facing the problems because of the network troubles. So why bringing such kind of a thing in the for other states as well? It has also been said that the differently abled MG Narega workers, they face another kind of a problem. Visually impaired, basically disabled person or such kind of a people, they face another problem. Then guys, basically there was one more criticism that is coming in this particular direction. Now under the MG Narega there is a concept of mate. There is a concept of mate. Who is a mate? Mate is actually a supervisor at a working at a work site. Okay, so mate makes sure that okay, the women are, sorry, the workers are doing their work, and all these kind of things are seen by a mate. Now it has been provided that the mate needs to have a smartphone. Now you know this thing that women there, they don't have smartphones, okay, in the rural areas particularly. So the women mates will be discouraged by this particular thing. Women can also become the proxy mates. It means that on the name the women is a maid, but actually the man is having a mobile phone and he is doing all that particular work and taking the money. You might have seen the TV series Panchayat, where we see the concept of pradhanpati, where actually the women is sarpanch but the work is being done by the husband, pradhanpati. So the women will become the proxy mates also here. This particular issue will be coming. Then guys, next thing, it has been said that Ministry of Rural Development has issued a circular and has announced that NMMS app should be used for the attendance. Now this particular thing should have been explored more pilot projects, more experiments should have been done before bringing such kind of a reform. This is something that has come. So guys, understand this particular thing that sometimes, see, keep this, listen this very carefully. Sometimes the solutions are smart, but they might not bring justice. Are you getting it or not? Solutions might be smart but might not bring justice. It is a smart solution but not bringing complete justice. Now it has been said that rather than this particular thing, we should introduce the concept of social audits. What is social audits? Social audit means that the citizen centric organizations, find self-help, the NGOs, etc., they should be brought and they should be made to evaluate that whether in the MG Narega all the work in a proper manner has happened or not, whether the people got proper employment, whether the ghost beneficiaries were there or not. All these things should be carried through the social audits, where the people should be brought into the process. So this is something which could have been better. So this is guys all about this particular article and the related issues. I hope that you have understood it. Now we'll move to the next. And guys, by the way, this is the explainer PDF that I'm using here now. So please join the Telegram group and please download this PDF. I share it every day. Now moving to the next, brick by brick. Now this editorial again we have taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it talks about the 14th BRICS summit that has been concluded. 14th BRICS summit that has been concluded. I am not going in the background of this BRICS. Why? Because yesterday entire background story etc. I had explained you, right from the Jim O'Neill, which gave the idea of BRIC way back in 2000, after the entry of the South Africa, the success initiatives, everything we have discussed already into the yesterday's newspaper. Today I am going to discuss the critical evaluation about the relevance of the BRICS. Clear? So if you don't know about the BRICS, please guys, you can refer to the yesterday's newspaper analysis. Now let's do the critical evaluation of the relevance of BRICS, and this is actually the thing which is asked into the UPSC. This is the thing, critical evaluation. It is something which is asked into the UPSC. Now, it is going to be important for GS paper number 2 under the topic of multilateral groupings, under the topic of the multilateral groupings. So as we read the word BRICS, we know that it is a grouping of the 5 countries. B stands for Brazil, R stands for Russia, I stands for India, C stands for China, and S stands for South Africa. Now, before 2010, South Africa was not the member, and it was actually known by the name BRIC. Then the South Africa became a member. Now the members, they meet they meet every year. Okay, one country hosts the BRICS summit, and this thing rotates in a particular manner. This year the BRICS meet summit has been hosted by the China. It has been hosted by the China. Now, as this particular thing has happened, basically we'll see that two things are coming. Number one, it is positive thing that is there. See, 14th summit of BRICS, it means that such a grouping has survived for so many of the years. It is a success of the BRICS. BRICS had led to many of the positive initiatives. For example, the new development bank, or the BRICS bank, that was launched by the BRICS countries, and it was created for building the or supporting the infrastructure projects into the emerging nations, developing countries. And as of today, the new development bank had funded the projects worth $30 billion in the emerging nations. Fine, it is bringing the turnaround into such kind of a countries, a very good thing. So this is something. But guys, at the same time, there are many of the irritants into the BRICS that are there, and these irritants are needed to be addressed if we want to keep the BRICS as a relevant organization, as a relevant grouping. Now, what are the irritants? Let's see one by one. Number one, it has been said that there are a large number of differences. For example, United Nations reforms. Okay, now United Nations reforms should be there, particularly the United Nations Security Council reforms should be there. There are the permanent 5 members which have been given a lot of power into the United Nations Security Council. India wants the reform. China also says that the reform should be there, but China doesn't want that India should become a permanent member in the United Nations Security Council. But India wants to be a permanent member. China doesn't want India to be a permanent member. Now, in the BRICS grouping, China and India are both. This particular difference between the India and China is basically creating some problems in the BRICS. This difference is there. After that, guys, next thing is that basically terrorism front, there are certain differences. For example, recently the issue happened that basically Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist Abdul Rahman Makki, okay, he was to be designated as an international terrorist, but the China created some kind of an obstruction in that. Okay, India basically alleges that the Pakistan is exporting the terrorism, but China obstructs that particular thing many a times in the United Nations. So on the terror, the perception of the terrorism is different into the minds of the China as well as India, and it is creating a difference. India sees Pakistan as an exporter of the terrorism, but China sees Pakistan as more of a friend. These differences are bringing certain problems. After that, on Ukraine, guys, basically the BRICS bloc affirmed a commitment to respect sovereignty, but at the same time, Russia's action, we clearly see that it has violated the sovereignty of the Ukraine. Okay, now India is in a fix in this particular thing. China's loyalty is clear. China's enemy is the USA, so China is going to support the Russia. Okay, but for India, Russia as well as the US, both are important. India cannot clearly take a side here in this particular thing, but China is clearly taking the side of Russia. Russia wants India should take a side. It is creating a kind of an irritant. It is creating a kind of a tension in the grouping. Then the next thing that is there, basically, that many times there are certain agreements that have not been filled. Moreover, these things also don't mean that the BRICS will not take some kind of a goals. It will not keep some kind of a high idealistic targets. It will keep. But now the time has come that BRICS countries should come together, should identify the common problems, common irritants that are between them. And by resolving the common irritants, they should further aspire for enhanced cooperation. They should work on some common issues, for example, the climate change, okay, LAC crisis, okay, space cooperation, fine, all these particular kind of things. BRICS countries, they have earlier agreed that a joint constellation of remote sensing satellites will be made. Okay, they will share the geospatial data. This is a point on which they can converge. They can converge on climate change. They can converge on basically on proving the economic strength of this entire block, 5 countries. Okay, so this is something common areas that should be more explored upon, and the differences should be minimized, should be reduced. So this is something which have been provided in this particular article. So guys, I hope that you have understood it, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. So that is all guys about today. Fine. And now we'll be meeting again on Monday. Fine. You know that our analysis goes from Monday to Saturday. Okay, on Sundays we don't have editorials. Moreover, repeatedly in the FAQ section, the issues that have been covered in the entire week, their summary is given. Okay, so I will insist that please keep Sunday as a day for revision and consolidation. Don't just run in collecting the content. It is not going to help. A consolidation, revision and retention in your mind is something which is going to help, because only then you can reproduce the content in your exams. So keep one day only for revision. So that is all guys from my side today. I hope that you have understood, and if you are liking the video, please do hit a like button. Please do leave your comment. It really means a lot to us. Thank you so much. We'll meet on Monday now. Take care.